Ferguson Superstore.
Hey guys, I'm Mike Huff and I work for Ferguson Superstores, and I just wanted to go over a few differences between the QX60 and the Buick Enclave. Those are two direct competitors, and we're going to kind of show you the differences today on why you should get the Buick over the QX60. So if you're just looking at the outside, this one actually comes with a little bit bigger wheel on it, and these are both kind of mid-grade models, so I'm not robbing the QX60 of anything by showing you a premium model. This is actually a leather group, so it's in the middle. And this is kind of a mid-grade Infiniti that we have on the lot, and you'll see it is a 2015, so we're not robbing it of anything at all, just kind of going over the differences. Safety is really important to me, especially when I'm looking at a family car. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm putting my family in a car, I want to make sure it's very safe. And the Buick Enclave actually gets a 5-star overall rating versus the 4-star overall rating in the Infiniti. Now, a lot of people think Infiniti is more sporty. Well, if you're actually looking at horsepower, this is 288 horsepower. This is 265 horsepower. So the Buick does actually get better horsepower ratings than the Infiniti. And just like little safety stuff you don't think about, you'll notice that we have the turn signal in the mirror. You don't see that on the Infiniti. That's to let the other drivers know around you what you're doing. It also, inside the mirror itself, it actually has what we call side blind zone alert. So what that means is when somebody's riding in your blind spot, it's actually going to alert you that somebody's there. And if you actually turn your turn signal on while it's illuminated, it's going to make a sound. So it's going to warn you before you actually make that turn. If you look at the brakes themselves, they're actually bigger than the Infiniti brakes. So what that means to me is actually the back's almost a whole inch bigger. What that means to me is this is going to stop a little faster than the Infiniti. So we got more horsepower, more stopping power. In the back here, you'll notice that we have parking sensors on our vehicle. The rear backup camera is standard on this vehicle, along with the parking grid. It comes with cross traffic alert. And what that means to you is basically when you're at Target or Walmart or wherever you like to shop at, this is going to read both ways, this way and this way, and it's going to let you know if somebody's coming down the aisle. And where that benefits you is you don't end up backing into somebody that's coming down the aisle, and it'll actually say on the screen which direction they're coming from. So that's a neat feature that we have. You'll notice like the nice dual exhaust looks nice and sporty. It's got the full body color bumpers on it. Like I said, the wheels are a little bit nicer. This is a Tuscan edition. You'll notice too, like on the Buick, like one thing I really like to talk about with Buick is the sound deadening material that it has. So this actually has quiet ride technology. All the Buicks have it. Buick's the oldest brand that GM has. A lot of people don't know that. Buick was the only brand when GM started. So what's that mean to you? That means you're going to get more research, more technology, and just a better quality vehicle overall because it's older, it's more mature. If you look at the glass up close, you can see that it's laminated. That's why I rolled the window down. You can actually see like 3 sheets in there. If you look real close, you can see the windshield laminated as well. So those are just some features on the outside of the Enclave that makes it a nicer quality vehicle. Contributes to the quieter ride. I showed you some of the safety features. This performed almost flawlessly. Actually, it did perform flawlessly in the highway safety crash test ratings. The Infiniti did okay. It got a 4, so it's not terrible. If you look at the Infiniti on the outside, it doesn't like look as luxury. It kind of looks a little bit more sporty. There's no turn signal in the mirror. They do have a side blind zone system that is available, but it's an option as opposed to ours being standard on our vehicle. You do have the rear view backup camera. It does have the grid as well. I don't see any dual exhaust pipes, so it just doesn't look as nice in my opinion. I don't know. It's kind of plain, but it does have the push button start with the keyless entry, so you can keep the key in your pocket. But that's pretty much all I see that it really has over on the outside. No side blind zone alert, no rear cross traffic alert. Those systems are available, but you have to upgrade quite a bit to get there. Well, you know, something else to think about too is gas mileage. Now the Infiniti does get a little bit better mileage than the Enclave, but at a price. You have to put premium fuel in this bad boy. This doesn't take premium fuel. Regular fuel, more horsepower, more performance out of regular gas. What does that mean, premium fuel? That means if you don't put premium fuel in it, it's not gonna run very good. So that's just something to think about. You're going to be paying a little bit more for gas on this one. So the added gas mileage, it really doesn't make sense because you have to put that premium fuel in there. So if you put that on a level playing field, they pretty much get the same mileage. One thing else I wanted to point out on the outside before we got in there is that this has that LED style lighting on the outside. That does too, but it's a little bit different. The front grille is a little more bold. It's just a little bit nicer look, I think, but it's really up to you. It does have the fog lamps in it. They're, you know, a little bit more sleek. These ones pop out a little more, you can see them. But you know, that's pretty much the outside of the vehicle, and then we'll just go on the inside and you can make the choice yourself. If you're looking in the Infiniti, it's kind of small in the back seat. So I'm 6'4", I know I'm a pretty big guy, but I mean, that's pretty small to me. There's not much room. And the third row is almost impossible for me to get into. It does have rear air controls right here, and you'll notice that the rear air is these two vents, and then there's actually some vents in the back, and I'll show you on the Enclave how ours differs a little bit. But getting in the back seat, this does slide out of the way, and you can step in. And if you look in the back, there's just not a whole lot of room back there. The headrests are kind of funny looking too. I mean, at least in my opinion, they are. These do fold down. It's a two-step process. So you got a little bit of cargo room back here. It's pretty similar. It does have a power lift gate, which is pretty similar as well, which you'd expect it to. It's an Infiniti, right? And looking around this side, I mean, not much to say over here. It's pretty much the same. You can slide the seats forward, and it's got those rear air controls. I want you to look at those rear air controls real quick too, because they kind of look old school. Well, let's take a look on the inside. I'm gonna have Cody here sitting up in the passenger seat, and I'll go show you some things that I noticed, and you tell me what you think. So when you're looking at the front, I mean, one nice thing we mentioned on the outside, it does have the push button start. Does not have remote start. If you're just looking on the inside, it's kind of plain. If you look at all the controls, like I said, they kind of look old school. They're old school buttons. They've been around for a long time, it looks like. There is some different screens up here that look kind of neat. All the letters are like the old digital clock that you would see. And the screen itself, it's kind of poor quality. It has little lines through it. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but when I put it in reverse, it's kind of staticky. So it does have the grid like we were talking about that shows you where you're going to end up. It's a little bit different than ours. And then it's got a lot of plastic to it. On the dashboard, there's a lot of plastic. There's a little bit of wood grain in there, but the controls are just kind of laid out funny. This right here, a lot of your controls for your power lift gate and stuff, they're right here, so they're at my knee. So not only do I have to move my knee to get to them, but to see them, I kind of got to lean back and look. So that's kind of something to consider too when you're looking at Enclave versus the Infiniti. But let's take a look in the Enclave. Let me show you a few things in there and see what you think. When you're looking at the Enclave, this is a Tuscan edition. It's a little bit different, not much. Like I said, it's kind of a mid-grade model. It's not top of the line. It's not a premium model. This is a leather group, so it does come with a different grille. So it's a little bit nicer grille on there, and the wheels are a little different. This is also the new color White Frost, which is nice. They kind of got rid of that beigey color. If you get up close, you can see the sparkles in it. Apologize about the dirt on both cars, and we're kind of going over some construction right now. So I'm going to skip the front seat for now and go to the back. You'll notice the back right here has a little bit more room in it. Like, once again, I'm 6'4". I was sitting in the front of this thing, and I've got enough room to put my hands in front. This seat, this also slides back and forth. And you'll notice the controls. It's got digital controls and buttons, so it looks a little bit nicer than the Infiniti. And there's also, if you notice, there's actually 2 USB ports back here for charging. So if your kids have iPads or something like that, they can charge them off of those 2 charge ports. Now, something else that you get in the Enclave that you don't get in the Infiniti is the 4G wireless connection. So if your kids are watching videos and stuff like that, they can stream off of that 4G. These seats fold up pretty similarly. They can fold down flat like this. They can fold up like this. And you'll notice something about this one that's a little bit different too. This has bucket seats. Bucket seats are really nice. You don't think about safety too much when you're on the inside, but if we were to get hit from the side, this kind of separates your two kids. Not only that, but if Billy's yelling at Susie, this kind of puts a little separation in between them, and it makes it easier to get to that back row. Now, the back row, I can actually fit. Just come on back. 6'4", I can fit back here. The seat's all the way back. Now, also it's nice you got a real tall kid. He can put his legs out in the middle. So kind of nice and easy, relaxing. There's cup holders back here, speakers back here. One thing I wanted to mention while I'm back here is the rear air. It's on the ceiling, all the way through. It's on the ceiling. So, and they can control their rear air from back here just like they can in that one. And then if you look at the headrests in the back, they're nice and sleek. So when I go to fold these seats down, it's easy. It's a one-step process instead of a two-step process like the Infiniti where I got to pull the headrest down first and then fold it. Now you'll notice these cars both have sunroofs, but we got something they don't. We have the dual sunroof. So if you look back here, it's like a skylight in the second row. And we can actually fold this back and let you see. Big old skylight back there, nice sunroof up front. Just a kind of nice little added feature. So a little bit sleeker design on the outside. You'll notice the chrome around the windows, chrome door handles, makes it look a little more elegant. And if you're looking at this back here, cargo room is a little bit more. You'll notice when I was in the back too, 6'4", plenty of headroom. There's less headroom in that Infiniti over there than there is in this. This also has a power lift gate, just like that one does. You know, one thing this one does have that one doesn't is it has remote start. And with our OnStar app, you can start it from any distance. You can be in San Diego, your wife's in San Antonio, and you could start the car. You can also lock it, unlock it, stuff like that. So OnStar is a huge feature as well. Both of these cars have the reclining back seats. So you'll notice that back seat reclines a little bit for comfort. And then we're gonna take a look at the features up front. There's a lot of features up front that you're gonna see on comparison. This one has a lot more stuff on it, and most of this stuff is standard. So whether you get the leather group or the regular Enclave convenience, or you get the premium model, you're gonna get a lot of this stuff. The Bose audio, that's an option. It's upgraded on this one. So, I mean, Bose speaks for itself. It's just a nice system, best sound quality. They got a really good name. We put them in our cars. So I have Cody get in the front seat again, and then I'll go ahead and go over some features with you. Now you'll notice in the Buick, it has a little bit more room up front. One thing we noticed too is the passenger side actually has a lumbar adjustment. They both have power seats all the way around, but we have the lumbar adjustment. Has the power mirrors and the standard stuff that you get in both of them. This one has seat memory. Also has a heated steering wheel. I think the steering wheel feels a lot nicer. You'll notice the dashboard. It's got that custom stitching look to it. It's really nice. It's like a soft touch dashboard. It doesn't look so plasticky. It looks a lot more luxury than the Infiniti does. Just little stuff like this headrest right here. I can adjust that back so it's not in the way. It's four-way adjustable. You don't get that in the Infiniti. And over here where my knee was and the other one, where all the controls were, the only thing I have right there, and it's up higher so I can actually see it, is my light controls that has automatic headlights. This has ambient lighting. So at night, there's a circle that goes all the way around the dashboard and it lights up, goes down through here. This is all LEDs right here. Really nice. So it makes it so you can actually be at night without having to turn your dome light on to look around your car. This one has a built-in garage door opener, so you can program your garage in there. And if you look at the screen's just a lot nicer quality. It looks more like something you'd see on your iPad or your iPhone or your Android. And it has weather and traffic, navigation. That one didn't have any of that. Your phone, this actually downloads your phone book to the car. So when you pair your phone, it's really easy to do it. And we'll do it real quick just so you can see how easy it is. I'm gonna take my phone and just go to Bluetooth real quick. And then right here it just says pair device. When I go to the phone options, and then it's gonna pull this up. And right on my phone you'll see it says Buick Enclave. I click it, and that's it, it's paired. So good to go. Pair it, successfully paired. So there's my phone right there. What's cool about that is when I go back into my phone now, down here, it's going to take a second because it's actually requesting information from my phone. You'll notice my contacts just popped up. So I can actually go into my contact list, and here's all my contacts. So what's cool about that is I can actually use my voice commands to say call Cody, and it'll call Cody. I can say call whoever, and it'll just call them as long as they're in my phone book. And it does it alphabetically so I can flip through. I can also look at my call list. So if I'm looking through, there's my call list. There's all the phone numbers I have, incoming, outgoing, missed calls, so I can see who called me and I missed. It's just real easy to use, and I don't know if you noticed this or not either, but in the Infiniti, it wasn't a touch screen. So basically you had to use all those little old school buttons to navigate through the system. The way that Buick does it is they know that some people feel more comfortable with these hard keys right here. So I can go to my home screen by hitting this home button, or I can go to my home screen by hitting this home button up here on the touch screen. So if you feel more comfortable here, you use the touch screen, which most people do. Or if you feel more comfortable on the hard keys, then you can push the hard keys and get there that way. Now what's cool is you can also do your voice. So just like in the Sierra video that I did, you can see that all I got to do is hit this button.
Say a command or say help.
Tune to XM66.
Tune to XM66. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tuning to XM66.
So I just use that basically to change the radio station without touching anything. That's something the Infiniti doesn't have, is the voice controls. I can also do this.
Say a command or say help.
Navigation.
What type of destination, address, or contact?
Address.
Destination address. Say just the city and state for the address. If your address is in a different country, say change country.
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Say the house number and street name in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
1601 North Elm Place.
1601 North Elm Place, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
And you'll notice I just did that with my voice, which is cool because I don't have to fiddle with it. Now what's nice about that is you can use your voice commands while you're driving down the road too. So a lot of navigation systems you can't use while you're driving down the road. This one you can, because you can use the voice features on it. And I can simply just hit start guidance. And if I'm using like a point of interest and I have my phone paired, which I do, then I can actually call whoever it is. So if I say Burger King, boom, it'll pull up Burger King and I can actually call them, which is neat. So it's just a little bit nicer and easier, user-friendly, luxury. Your friends are gonna be more impressed when you look in here and you can push a button and say, hey, check this out. It does have the heated steering wheel like I mentioned. And you'll notice all those controls that were on my kick panel over here, they're actually right here. So I can do my power lift gate. I've got a trailering package on this, which you didn't even see on the back because it's got a nice cover to cover it up. And it's got traction control, and the rear wiper controls are right here instead of over here where they're hard to get to. There's a lot more features on this screen that it's just too much to mention in one video. But you can check your traffic. It'll basically show you all the traffic jams and stuff like that that's going on. You can pull more information by clicking into it. You can check the weather. You can see that it's clear today. It is a nice day outside, which is rare in Oklahoma for us. But There's all kinds of features. You got Bluetooth streaming. You actually have text messaging feature. So you can actually use that when a text comes into your phone. You can actually have it read to you, which is a very neat feature. That way it keeps you from being distracted. You got picture viewer, you got Stitcher radio, Pandora, XM, CD player, all that stuff that you normally have, and then some. So, and then when you're talking about safety again in here, if I just look at my backup camera, the quality is much different than what you see back there. It's nice and clear. It's hard to see because it's in the sun right now, but the grid turns just like it does on the other one, except for the whole thing turns, so you can see exactly where you're going to end up. Now, something that you didn't see is there's actually an airbag right here. So this actually pops out between you and your passenger, because GM, they did a study that people clunk their heads together when they're hit from the side. So they put this side airbag in here, which is an industry first, and the Enclave was the first one to have it, where it pops out and protects your head and your torso from your passenger, which is a nice safety feature. This car is designed basically to be as safe as possible. That's why it gets a 5-star. Some of the reasons it gets a 5-star is you got the airbag, you've got that rear cross-traffic alert I was talking about, and you've got lane departure warning. So when you're going down the highway, there's actually a camera behind the mirror here, and what that does for you is it reads the white lines, and when you start to swerve out of your lane without your turn signal on, boom, it warns you. When you get too close to a car in front of you, it's got forward collision alert. That warns you as well. So basically, we know life happens, so what we do is try to warn you when it's happening, because if you got this kind of car, most likely you got kids, and we all know that they're not always behaving the way they're supposed to be. So when you're looking back, drop something, anything like that, it's going to warn you, hey, you need to pay attention right now because something's going on, which is a nice feature with Buick. And there's a lot of other features on the vehicle, but if you just look at it overall, it just looks more luxury. If you look at the gauges on the dual climate control, it's a little bit more fancy. It's got the temperature in the center. It's got your fan speed right here. So it's all digital. It just looks nicer. So between the Infiniti and this one, I'd much rather have this one just because of the fact that it looks nicer. The stitching on the seats is nice. It's got the heated seats. It's got everything that one has and then some. But you know, basically what I always tell my customers is Buick, drive to impress, because this isn't your grandma's Buick anymore. This is a very high-end luxury car. It competes with everything out there. So if you're looking at Buick, you should really look a little bit more close, because these are awesome. They got quiet ride. They've got all the safety features, and you know, they get great reviews. Even on Consumer Reports, they get a lot of awards. The Buick Enclave is one of the most awarded vehicles that GM has in their lineup. So definitely take a closer look at these, because these are awesome vehicles, and I guarantee you if you come and look, it's going to compare to whatever you're comparing it to, and take the cake. So it's been nice talking with you guys. Again, I'm Mike Huff with Ferguson Superstores. Come out and see us, and we'll take real good care of you.
Ferguson Superstore.